Hey everyone, my name is Mike, and this is a too long didn't read version of Shadow-Lord Iskar on Mythic. Right by the boss, there's an Eye of Anzu that needs to be picked up when you start the fight. If no one picks it up, it is a raid-wide AoE. Whoever holds this eye will have a stacking dot put on them that does not go away. Because of this, you want to designate a few people to throw the eye around so their stacks never get too high. You can throw it using the extra action button. Throughout this fight, Iskar will do Shadow Riposte on the player holding the eye. This does a lot of damage to them and makes them drop the eye, so make sure that it's picked up quickly. This eye is used to counter certain mechanics in this fight. One of the mechanics is where random people get selected to be pushed off the platform. This push gets stronger the longer it lasts. The only way to stop this push is for the eye to be thrown to the affected players. The boss puts out a dot called Phantasmal Wounds. You can remove this dot by healing them to 90% or passing them the eye. 3 people will get marked with Fel Chakram. After a few seconds, you'll throw a Chakram out, hitting all of these players once. Anyone that's in the Chakram's path will also get hit. The amount of damage done is decreased the further away people are that are hit. Someone gets targeted with this green beam that spawns fire as it chases you. My guild found it best for the fixated player to move out of the raid and then stand in the fire. The fixated player takes less damage from the fire while they're fixated. As soon as they stopped being fixated, they had to run out or they would start to take a ton of damage. At 70% health, the first air phase starts and it lasts for 40 seconds. During the air phase, the boss will cast Focus Blast at the player holding the eye. The damage this deals is split between everyone that's hit by it, so everyone should be getting hit by this. In phase 1, 3 types of adds will spawn. The Corrupted Priest and a bunch of small adds, and the Phantasmal Resonance, which will spawn with each add phase on Mythic. The Resonance needs to die first. It will do Dark Bindings, which connects 2 players together. You cannot see who you're connected with unless you obtain the eye. The only way to break this chain is to stand next to the person you're chained with. While you're chained, you're taking a bit of damage every couple of seconds. If you get close to someone who is not your partner, you'll die, and if you die, so does your partner. The Resonance does not cast these bindings for 20 seconds after it spawns, so if you kill it before then, you can ignore this mechanic entirely. The Corrupted Priest will put a bomb on random people that explodes in 5 seconds. One of the bombs will just be a Fel bomb. It can only be dispelled by whoever is holding the eye, and if it is dispelled, all the other bombs just go away. In this add phase, we made sure that a healer had the eye when the bombs went out. For the first air phase, we used our legendary ring and all offensive cooldowns. The second air phase will start at 45%. All the adds will spawn again, including a new add called Shadow-Fel Warden. He casts Fel Conduit, which is a chain lightning that can only be interrupted by the person holding the eye. The longer the Warden channels this, the more damage it does. In this phase, we made sure that the dispelling healer and a tank got the eye when needed. The tank would be interrupting the conduit. For the second air phase, we used our ring, all offensive cooldowns, and our second potion. The third and final air phase starts at 20%. All the adds spawn again, including one more add called a Fel Raven. This Raven puts a debuff on the tank called Phantasmal Corruption that makes them explode, dealing a ton of damage to people and increases the fire damage they take by 100% for 10 seconds. If a tank is holding the eye when this goes out, he won't get it, and if he already has this debuff, passing him the eye will just remove it. In this phase, we started with the eye on the tank who needed to interrupt the conduit. It was quickly passed off to the healer to dispel the bombs, who then passed it to the Fel Raven tank so they didn't die. That tank would then pass it back to the interrupting tank. For the third air phase, we used the legendary ring, all offensive cooldowns, and lust. Ranged and healers always position themselves on one of 3 places on the platform: left, right, or center. They started the fight on the right side, for example. When the air phase started, they moved to the center. After the air phase, they moved to the left. Then they just keep going back and forth the entire fight. This gave them a little bit more room to deal with the fire. My guild waited for Phantasmal Winds to go out before we pushed an air phase. This was so we weren't tossing the eye around when a more important mechanic needed to be dealt with. We also stopped DPS before an air phase to ensure that the legendary ring was off cooldown. With our cooldown rotation, we were able to kill the Phantasmal Resonance before having to deal with any of its mechanics. In the last air phase, we had all ranged switch to Iskar and burn him. We found that all the adds combined in this phase had more health than what Iskar had, so it was just more effective to burn him down. However, because of this, we had to actually deal with the dark bindings from the Resonance. Anyone affected by this would just spread out so they wouldn't die. That was a too long didn't read version of Shadow-Lord Iskar on Mythic. If you have any questions, feel free to let me know down below in the comments. Thanks for watching, have a great day!